If I had to compare my life to any movie, it would probably be Frank Capra's oft-quoted and annoying classic holiday film, It's a Wonderful Life. It's tacky and sentimental. However, I can't imagine a person that doesn't compare themselves in at least one way to George Bailey.
You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
In some ways, he's become the staple of the fully Americanized father, whose dreams are constantly shelved in order to fulfill some obligation to another person. Because self-sacrifice is the best way to go, as we all know.
I suppose it'd been better if I'd never been born at all.
And each moment of his life colludes as if without his consent to ensure that he never fulfills his dream of seeing the world. Thereafter, he finds happiness, as most people do, in doing those things counter to his hopes and dreams. It holds so much truth for anyone willing to notice, not in its religious sentiment, but in its provocative statement that it's the little things we do, while noticing the greener grass in our neighbor's yard, that give meaning to our lives when everything is doubtful and almost hopeless. For the past 6 years, I've been an undergrad learning biology in the hopes that I can go to medical school. Having endured the most complicated of classes, organic chemistry, biology, biochemistry, evolution, calculus, statistics, etc., I have painstakingly smiled at each new challenge, knowing that the eventual goal is financial freedom and stability after such a long time relying on the kindness of others. Once more, thinking that over there is better than over here. Presently, I'm in the bowels, so to speak, of the medical world, a nurse's aide. While the job does entail many meager tasks, such as toileting the elderly, it also ensures that their day-to-day quality of life is held to a certain standard. That means setting aside my own issues from the day and leaving them at home while I spoon-feed someone pudding who could not normally do it on their own. It is true that such a monotonous task can evoke feelings of banality. Spoon to mouth, spoon to mouth. I like helping people who can't help themselves. A feeling I wasn't capable of before. I enjoy the camaraderie that comes with being in such close proximity to all the personal care that cannot be performed as a result of arthritis, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, dementia, and just plain old age. I am needed. But occasionally there comes a time where I cannot help, even if I'm able. Let's call her Jean. She's 70 and one of the most delightful people I've ever worked with. She has multiple sclerosis and has smiled through a lot of pain that I cannot possibly imagine. She cannot stand, and occasionally as a result her body does not obey her commands. We get to talking a lot. Politics, religion. She's an atheist, much to my delight in an environment where the majority of people are religious. Love, life, marriage, war, and everything that friends can hash out. And on occasions when I can openly speak about my atheism, of course, I use the opportunity. She explains, very clearly, as she still has her mental faculties, that she has had 2 husbands leave her. One because he discovered that this debilitating disease would render her unable to get to the toilet. That was 40 years ago. And the other because he was gay. That was even farther back. This, of course, piqued my interest. I had a similar experience, though it was I who did the leaving. I tell her this, and she smiles, asking, "What is it with you gay boys and playing pretend?" "We're assholes," I said, and she chuckled. "No, you're not. I understand the need to hide, and I have nothing but pity for that type of situation, and I forgave him, just as I hope your ex-wife has?" She cocked her head to one side, awaiting my answer. I said, yes, and then stood her up and placed her sitting on the bed. "You have a boyfriend, of course?" "Yes," I say, and then she grunted in pain, saying, "Oh, I wish I could die." I frown. There's not much else I can do. I then cleaned her glasses so she could watch Jeopardy unhindered. She looks around the room. Her neighbors are asleep, snoring loudly. Then her eyes turn to me in a quizzical way. They are thin slits. She's contemplating something. I asked, "Is something wrong?" She replied, "Maybe you could be the one to do it," nodding her head all the while keeping that expression of deep thought. "Do what?" "Help me die." I don't answer. She then lays out a plan as if I had said yes. "All you would have to do is buy me some antifreeze so that I could mix it with my nightcap. She is the only resident that's prescribed a shot of whiskey at the end of the night, and let me down it. My mind is a flurry with thoughts before I can answer. I am not doing that. In all my years of doing this, I've never been asked such a thing. Also, that would not kill her. The ethylene, or propylene glycol, alone would, but when mixed with the ethanol and the whiskey, the ethanol will inhibit the metabolization of the antifreeze, causing her to urinate it out. In fact, that's the treatment for that type of poisoning. She may become violently ill for a short while in the process, but she would not die. I am in so much pain, sweetheart. She says this flatly, without any sadness. I can't do something like that. I'm sorry. And I already know that I have to tell the nurse all of this, even if it is a detriment to my friendship with this person. She says, you know that's why I'm here. My family found out I had a suicide planned and stopped me. After my evaluation, they put me here to slowly shit myself and suffer from constant urinary tract infections. I cannot feel her pain, but I nod anyway. I cannot do that. I'm sorry. No one would blame you. I'm suffering and in need of a long dirt nap. It's the exact opposite of George Bailey. She has had a long, fulfilling life and does not question her place in the universe. Momentarily, everything is terrible for her. I think of the myriad times she's told by the nurse that it's time to take her medication, and she's overjoyed, saying, "Thank whomever invented Marinol, time to get toasted," she says, and then pops the pills along with other pain medication. Still, I shake my head at her. What? She asked. I would blame me. I say, then think I could not live with myself. You think too much. It was worth a try. She touched my cheek lightly, then reached for her blanket, tucking herself in with her good hand, then flipped on good old Alex Trebek. Can you do me a favor before you leave? I raised my eyebrows. She rolls her eyes, says, Can you get me my Nilla wafers from the bedside table? She pointed to the table. I opened the cabinet, took them out, and opened the box, then handed them to her. Thank you, she said, then, good night. I say good night and walk the hall to the nurse's station. Everyone is asleep or dozing while watching TV. The nurse was busy penciling away in the narcotics book. I explained to her what had just happened, and then she nods all the while with a wry smile on her face. To me, there's nothing amusing about this. She stopped me saying, she asks everyone to help her die. It's just a behavior that we put up with. I am not satisfied with this answer, but I don't tell her that. She continues, to do this job, you have to toughen up and not feel. Otherwise, it will get you. It will burn you out. I sigh. I may have been doing this a long time, but the nurse has been doing it for 30 years. It's both great and shitty advice. How do we simultaneously decide to help the sick because we care, then ignore their woes in the same breath? I already know that I would not help her in that capacity. Everything for her is terrible right now, though. The call light suddenly beeps. It's her room. Then I go back and peer in the doorway. Yes? I asked. Come here, she beckons with her good hand. I do so, standing at her bedside with only Alex Trebek lighting the room. She said, I'm sorry. For what? For putting that burden on you, sweetheart. If I want to do that, it'll be my own responsibility. She looked at me earnestly, then, you told the nurse, of course. I nodded. Good boy. It's how I know you're a good person. I smiled. You know I'm 35, right? You're a boy to me. Having you kids wait on me hand and foot, it isn't so bad. Did you need anything else while I'm here? I asked. Be happy. And she's right. Thank you for watching. So tell me, folks, what do you think is the ideal life? Leave a comment. Also, if you like this video, click the like button and share it. If you'd like to become a patron of mine and help me continue making videos, there's a link in the description.